Alright guys, I got the 5.4 supercharged motor pulled out of that twisted lightning frame. And looking this frame over, it is pretty well tweaked. This mount is just twisted, as was the mount bolted up to the motor. And surprisingly enough, measuring some of the dimensions from the mounting holes back here where the E4OD bolts up, or I'm sorry, the 4R100 on the Lightning bolts up, to where the center line is of the motor mounts on the Lightning is 41.5 inches, which is nearly identical to where the E4OD mounts up on my older F-Series and where the eyelets are for the motor mounts on the F-Series. So as far as spacing, they're actually really darn close. But the reliefs for the accessories, being the AC on this side, and then the water outlet on the lower side of the motor over here, there's a big relief right here, and there's a big relief right here on the frame, which ends up being really low on the motor because the AC is down here so low on the crank, and then you have the power steering pump and then that water outlet right there. So which ends up putting it, because the motor mounts are actually, for the 460, they're right there. So that 41.5 inches is where it lines up center on the big block and small blocks, and also coincidentally lines up to where the 5.4 is on the Lightning, the F-150, newer F-150 frames. So which leaves my relief being right about there where the white boxed in area is. So in theory, what I'll first do is cut this section out where the boxing is. There's a big gusset here with the rivets in there, and the lower bracket for that arm there stops right about here. So once I get that cut out, I'll end up doing the same thing over here. As you can see where I cut this out for the oil filter housing, where the 90 is on the 460. Because this is actually a small block cross member, which I modified for the big block to fit it. And I'm going to cut this out and relief this down all the way back in here behind the steering gear box, and then I'll cut across and box this out here. So once that's all opened up and reliefed, I will get the cross member set back in there for the tranny, measure some things out, and then I'm going to slide the motor in and just gently kind of set it down and see where I end up at. And I'll take the steering box out of the way just so I have less things in the way, and start plugging along and seeing where the motor mounts need to be, mock up some motor mounts. I'm going to use Mustang motor mounts from a 4.6, aftermarket ones, so that I have just that single one bolt hole that'll slide down in. And I'm going to leave these 460 mounts in here just to see where I end up at, just to kind of give me a guideline of where my center bolt up area needs to be. And it looks like on the modular motors they're a little bit more narrow where the engine mounts drop in. The big block and small blocks, the big block is definitely a little bit wider, and the small blocks, I'm not sure exactly where they'd line up because I don't have any small block F-Series rigs anymore. I've pulled everything out. Everything I have is big blocks. So as I progress along on this, I'll take a few more videos, and I do have lots of pictures and stuff I have on my personal homepage, but I'll try and update with videos as this progress and project gets along. Hopefully I can get it done this winter. If you have any questions, post in the comments below. Thanks. Bye.